United States government expands throughout the years, many people are concerned about their online privacy. As a frequent online shopper, I am concerned about where my personal information goes. In 1984, a book written by George Orwell provides many topics that relate to online monitoring and marketing. Although in 1984 not much topic is involved, the government has the ability to recognize when someone such as Winston purchases items that make themselves seem threatening to the party. He had given a quick glance up and down the street and then had slipped inside and bought the book. Even with nothing written on it, it was a compromising possession. Orwell 6. When Winston goes to buy an item as simple as a book, the government uses this as a sign that Winston records his own thoughts. This relates to today because internet service providers have the ability to see what IP addresses we contact and can see what websites we view. In 2018, the House voted that the internet service providers can openly see what certain people search online. Not only that, but they would be able to see our personal information and what we purchase online. A large company such as Amazon, that sells basically anything you can find, has piles of information about what certain items people purchase. In Amazon's privacy policy, it states that the information they gather is only the information we give them. But if people do not give the company their personal information about their credit cards, addresses, and phone numbers, then purchases would be impossible to make. This appears in 1984 because the government has access to everyone's personal information. Not only personal information, but even their thoughts and minds. Winston records his own unorthodox thinking in his journal. He repeatedly writes, "Down with Big Brother." 24. Even with the purchase of his journal, the thought police suspects Winston as a threat, and then follows him until he eventually gets caught. Another concern related to our online privacy is the National Security Agency's NSA's surveillance activities. Many traces of online tracking takes place, which leads us to the real question: what does the NSA monitor? Several billions of phone calls are made in the US every single day, which comes to the conclusion that the NSA has the ability to listen to people's phone calls. If a serious investigation was to go on, the NSA could step in and track certain suspects' phone calls. The NSA's ability to track people's online uses and phone calls relate to a device in 1984 called the telescreen. The telescreen monitors the movements and sound of the Orwellian citizens. The government is able to hear and see whatever the people are doing, just like the NSA's ability to track our audio phone calls. Some people argue that the NSA tracking us is a theory, but in 2017, Facebook warned users about a transparency report. The report included that the government made around 82,000 requests for user data. Not only did the government ask for certain users' data, but 62% of the people tracked were not warned about it, because the government prohibited Facebook to alert the user. According to Sarah Perez. Like Facebook, Google also warned web searchers about a transparency report. According to Google's transparency report, government agencies commonly ask for user data. They not only ask for user data, but how a certain person has used the company's services. A law called the Electronic Communications Privacy Act, also known as the ECPA, regulates how the government agency can use these types of legal processes to compel agencies like Google to disclose information about users. Google says that they will not give too much information about the user, but only will reveal the information that the person has given Google. George Orwell provides many theories leading up to the government manipulating people's minds. They tell them exactly what to feel and think. All beliefs, habits, tastes, emotions, mental attitudes that characterize our time are really designed to sustain the mystique of the party and prevent the true nature of present-day society from being perceived. 78. As the world of technology develops, many new devices make it harder for us to have the privacy we want. Unfortunately, new web technology like user behavior tracking has created many new ways for certain corporations to track your web activity. Like user behavior tracking, virtual reality and augmented reality has also become a very popular web development trend throughout the years. Virtual and augmented reality transforms our relationship to technology and society. Although there are many positive aspects of virtual and augmented reality, there are many downsides that concern our privacy. When we see images that prove a theory, we automatically believe what the image shows us. When reality and non-reality life forces are blurred, how will we be able to tell what's real and what's not? Will the government use this to their advantage or do what's right? In 1984, reality exists within the philosophy of the party. Reality exists in the human mind and nowhere else, only in the mind of the party, which is collective and immortal. 249. O'Brien tells Winston that the party controls reality and whatever the party holds is the truth. In many years from today, how will we be able to tell the difference between real life and virtual reality? Like virtual reality, years from now, the government could eventually take advantage of internet service providers and the information they have access to. People's personal information could be sold. The NSA could easily remove encryption on a person's phone and examine on people's personal databases. If the NSA and internet service providers could openly view what we buy online, the government would know exactly who is a threat to the government. For example, if someone were to buy sharp kitchen knives online, the government could use that as a threat to other people. A vast majority of people across the United States want more control over who shares their personal data. Many virtual private network VPNs are available to download. Software such as ExpressVPN are reliable to depend on. This software encrypts users' web traffic and hides their IP addresses, along with the IP addresses they contact as well. If you are also concerned about your search history privacy, there are many solutions to keep your internet browsing more private. If you use a popular browser site like Google, Chrome, or Safari, you have the ability to search private websites, and things you search won't show up in your search history.